Hello!
Marriage video 130 and foundational marriage.
Yes, and if you notice, depending on when you're looking at
We haven't hit
this,
the 200s yet. And you notice that we might have missed yesterday.
Monday.
Wait, what today?
It is Wednesday.
Wow.
We
It's
missed
been a
our
week.
first Monday. Well, I think this is our second, but
Maybe.
the reason we missed, some of you know, our son broke his leg. Like, if you're going to do it, this is the way you do it.
Broke his tibia and fibula.
fibula.
Have a metal bar now in his
Tibia,
leg.
fibula.
Some
Yep.
screws.
So we were kind of in the hospital,
Awesome.
surgery. It was,
Yeah.
you know, and that brought us to today's, or this week's video on priorities.
And we've done a video like this before.
But
and
it's been a couple of years.
It's been a couple of
easily
years.
a couple
And,
years.
you know, I think we entitled it, you know, Screw the Kids, This Is Our Marriage, or Your Marriage is More Important Than Your Kids. This is your primary relationship. Your children are not your primary relationship. And if you have this right, then raising them becomes a lot easier. They actually like your marriage. They see how attracted you are to one another, especially if you kiss your spouse in front of them and they go, ew. Yeah. So this is a priority, not the other priority with your kids. They are a priority, but it's not, there should not be higher than this priority.
Well, this was probably one of the biggest ones we had some controversy on, because people were like, no, my kids come first, my kids come first, my kids come first. Okay, well then what happens, God forbid, if you lose a child?
Yeah, what happens if you're going straight to death?
What happens if, you know, your kids grow up and move away from you?
Isn't that the plan? I know we don't want a 27-year-old kid living in the basement.
I don't know you anymore because we haven't really had a relationship for the last 20-some years.
And so if this is not a priority, then a lot of times that's when divorce happens for empty nesters, because this relationship has never been a priority. It's always been about the kids. Mm-hmm. And once the kids are gone and it's not about the kids anymore, it's just a person here that you've been roommates with rather than actually having
and you might be co-parenting,
a marriage with.
But there might be other things in it. But we also want to put this caveat out here because
real life
do come first at some point. You know what I mean? If they are 100% coming before your spouse all the time, every day, that's the problem.
Right there
now,
is a balance.
The last 4 days, our priority has been our son. And both of us, priority son. Absolutely. And for the next few months, his comfort and getting him healthy, that's a priority. But if your kid's coming to you, mommy, daddy, I want a sucker, and you turn away from your spouse, or you care more about the minimal things, or I don't want them to feel bad.
Yeah, non-emergential.
Well, how about your spouse?
Emergential things.
Yeah, do they feel bad because now you're focusing all your attention?
I can go, hey babe, I want a sucker.
Is that what you do? But you know what I mean? There are times.
There's an innuendo there that you can figure out yourself.
There are seasons. Absolutely, there are seasons. We know people that have had children in the hospital for months, if not years.
And that's
there's the season.
And that's the whole entire thing of that. When this is your primary relationship,
and
then you're filling each other's love tank to 100% over and over again. When an emergency thing happens, then you're both on the same page. Going. You're not. You know, someone doesn't feel left in the dust because mom's running after child or dad's running after kid, watching sports, doing all of that stuff. It's just, we're on the same page.
Because we know when things calm down a little bit more that, you know, and today is Tim's birthday. Woohoo! So happy birthday. Anyway, but you know what I mean? It's not like I have spent, oh my gosh, what's Tim going to do on his birthday? No, I'm sorry. Kid came first and he knows that.
Yeah.
Nope, kid comes first. That's what it is, because he knows that I value his attention and his.
It's such a farce, man. My birthday's a national holiday. Everybody needs to go out and do stuff then.
But you know what I mean? He knows that overarching, we are
a family unit as a whole.
Yes.
But the thing is that on a regular basis, this relationship is the priority. And I keep saying that over and over again because it's really, really important. Your kids are not the priority. If your spouse is the priority to you, that mimics through the next generation. So therefore, like my sons are watching how I treat my wife.
Yeah.
So they are going to treat their wives the same exact way.
We pray and hope.
Right. And so, you know, if I jump on her and make out with her in front of them, I do that on purpose to gross them out because that's what dads do. But still, it's just mimicking a healthy marriage.
Yeah.
I don't want their family to be kid-centric either.
Right.
Because what happens is that you have a kid-centric family, then one spouse gets bitter over the other spouse of not being so kid-centric.
Yep, gets resentful.
Or you're always working and I'm doing all this stuff with the kids. Yeah, and then you get resentful, and that's either forgiven or not. So you could prevent that entirely by getting on the same page and saying, look, this is our primary relationship. You are my wife. This is the way that it's biblically supposed to be. And we're supposed to raise these two individuals in the way that they should go, and they're supposed to leave the house.
And release them into the wild.
Marriage is kind of a weird thing in the fact that two strangers then come together, they become one, they produce offspring, and their job then is to push that offspring out into society as fully grown adults, and they are then supposed to do the same thing.
Yeah.
We're not supposed to have this conglomerate of 16 generations living in the same household, especially in America we don't, but that's the entire thing, is that you're supposed to raise adults, let them go, they're supposed to find a mate, then they're supposed to raise adults, let them go.
Supposed to, but they are supposed to be
you
responsible, kind citizens and human beings in
right.
this world.
And if you're not raising a responsible, kind citizen,
go back to the drawing board.
Don't vote.
Start over. No, you're right. But we also wanted to talk about this is not just with kids, because there are a lot of newly married people that come together, and especially if you're waiting later in life to get married, all of a sudden now friends may have been the priority. Parents, your own parents, may have been priority. And now, as soon as you've said I do, as soon as you've made that commitment, regardless, this is your primary relationship. And it was difficult because I kind of had to put my foot down on some things this week, because this is the primary relationship.
Right.
I can't be doing this with my parents, can't be doing this with family, can't be doing this with friends. This is it. And that can be a hard thing, especially if you've lived for a couple of decades where your parents have been the priority, and maybe the parents were the central focus of, and so now the kids are like, oh, I can't do anything with my parents, or my parents think this or that. Nope. Now you have to go to your spouse.
Especially worse
and
than that is
adjustment.
that if your parents and your friends don't actually support your marriage,
that is even harder.
Then that's even worse.
And again,
you really have to
abuse, that kind of thing.
take them. Yeah. Here's the disclaimer.
Disclaimer.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Abuse. Get out.
Yeah.
But if the people that you've surrounded with have never had a good marital example, they've been divorced 16 times and can't figure it out, and that's the thing is, I'll just go get another one. Those aren't people that I would suggest you having a lot of time with.
Yeah.
Hang out with them, they're your friends. Right. And I wouldn't really take marital advice from somebody that's been divorced forever and their answer is, I'll just go find another one. Don't take marital advice from them. But surround yourself in a community.
And again,
you
disclaimers.
Can join our private group. Surround yourself in a private group in our community and ask for help. It's totally okay.
Absolutely.
But ask for help from people that want your marriage to succeed.
Yes.
Not so much parents that are
agree with you. Yeah, he is a deadbeat. Or gosh,
you should
she
get
is
rid
horrible.
of him.
Yeah.
Check out that person over there instead.
Right.
But you know what I mean? If her parents weren't for our marriage, we wouldn't have lasted. My parents weren't for our marriage, we wouldn't have lasted. And yes, there are issues with parents getting involved, but you know what I mean? When you have an encouraging family member,
yes,
it's almost night and day.
Yeah.
To where if a parent goes, hey, you've married the person and this is the person that you're going to stick to with the rest of your life because that's the commitment that you made, have fun.
I will support you.
Right.
I will not talk bad about them.
Right.
I will listen to you.
Your friends shouldn't talk bad about your spouse. And you shouldn't join in with the whole bad spousing conversation.
Nope.
You should actually do it the other way around. My husband's horrible. Well, my wife's great because she did this. Or my husband's great because he did this. Switch the conversation to positivity rather than dwelling on the negativity.
Have you done anything great lately? What is, what did you like about him? What did you marry? Why'd you marry him?
Just understand that this relationship is your priority relationship.
Yeah. Yeah. That's and that is controversial because and blended families puts in a whole new other dynamic.
It's still your primary relationship.
It is,
even
which
if it's
is
blended.
hard, especially with a mom or a dad that has put the kid as the priority because there's nobody else to put priority.
Because there's that time usually between divorce where you kind of do that. Yes.
Where give yourself some grace. This is a learning time. You're learning each other. You're really trying to make this as a priority, but this child has been your priority. That is an adjustment. Don't expect that to happen overnight, and it's okay if it doesn't, but talk to your partner about that. Say, I really would like you to make you a priority. We need to be on the same page as parenting, but I'm struggling with this. Mm-hmm. That's okay. Yep. It shouldn't be like, okay, that's the way it is, and I just got to get over it. No, take some time. Talk about it. Communicate through it.
This is where grace and forgiveness comes in on a regular basis, and the fact that if Tammy had a divorce and we now have a blended family, there is that time where the child was literally the priority because you're dealing with other extraneous circumstances.
Yeah.
And then when we come together, then those circumstances go away, and we have to be the primary relationship because, again, it is a good example of what marriage should be to your children. And that's the whole
for the kids
entire
too.
point.
They might be like, you like him more than me. Well, it's not about that.
Right.
It's about, we're now married. It's a different relationship than a parent and child.
Yeah. So this, again, helps you get on the same page and helps prevent a lot of conflicts with where do the kids stand in the marriage. It's you guys, then the kids. And if you're a Christian, God, you guys, kids.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Pretty easy.
All right. Well, we love you guys, and we'll try to get it out. We'll try to get it out on Monday.
We'll try to get it out.
Try to get it out on Monday.
Maybe we'll try to get it in and get it out and get it in.
Wow. Well, it is your birthday.
Yay!
And I'm home. All right, we love you guys. HaveAMarriage.com. Check us out on all the social medias. And
we started a podcast. But you can find us on iTunes at Have a Marriage. I will put that in the... Yeah, we're really close to just being everywhere.
I can see these people everywhere. All right, we love you.
All right.
We will see you next Monday.
Bye.